I'm back. What the hell? That sucked. Ooh. That yielded attention. Welcome to part number 2 of Day 9 Daily 483, Newbie Tuesday, where we learn to be a better gamer. Excellent. I've been doing this a lot lately, because if you're at a casino, I really like poker a lot. If you're at a casino, there's this thing where they just turn their hands up to show that they don't have anything in their hands, to show to the cameras up there. So you'll always see the dealers do that, where he'll like fan out the cards and do this sort of thing. Or like when they like take the tip you gave him and they like knock it against the table. Oh, I love that. That's so great. Okay, wanted to come back to the topic of the day. It is Zerg leak finding. And I talked about some of these principles for Zerg learning. Focus more on the droning. Definitely focus more on upgrades and use as little larva as possible to defend attacks. And the last one, and most important one in my eyes, is focus on that layer tech. So I want to focus on good strategy in one category versus how this relates to the learning. So often when someone is, for instance, going Broodlord Infestor, what do they do to stay alive? Spine crawlers. So if I were doing a more of a high-level analysis, I remember doing this with one of my pro Zerg player buddies. We were looking at one of his games, and he's like, do you think I'm low on spine crawlers here? And I was like, yeah, you know what, I think you actually need like 6 more, and you have the money to do it. And that was the end of the discussion. But it's important to see that if we're rushing for Hive in a lot of circumstances, or just going for Hive, we will see, oh, I'm losing. What solution can I possibly do? Zerglings? Oh, not working so well. Oh, spine crawlers. Oh, this might work really well. It falls out of this whole mindset of getting our Hive early and trying to stay alive. What if we were playing a game and we were in a really late game situation? It had been a weird game, and we had, I don't know, 700 minerals and 2,500 gas, and we were going for Hive. Should we build spines then? No, of course not. We should build infestors. Infestors on average are going to be way better than spine crawlers in that specific circumstance. So it's not just build spines when going for Hive. It's this thing that falls out of, with what I have, how can I possibly stay alive for this Hive tech play? So what I want to do is I want to look at this game from PPG Beedling. And everyone in my room is trying to tell me that there's a spider on my shoulder. Little do they know that I have a full screen video of myself on my monitor. Totally didn't see a spider. Fuck, but I am scared of bugs. There's not a spider. Did I miss the spider? I saw you guys saying that for the last minute and a half. God, I don't like bugs. Jerks. Alright, this is going to be a game from PPG Beebling that's a little bit more of a well-structured Zerg play. He's a little bit higher level than our good Zerg friend in the last game, but we're still going to see the same problems crop up that we saw in some of our older games. Alright, hatch first. No big deal. Beebling going for hatch. Pool manages to do a nice pick off on this probe to prevent it from doing any sort of cannon building. At this point in the game, Beebling doesn't really know if there's gas geysers down, doesn't actually know what his Protoss opponent is doing, and should, really should. You jerks maybe didn't play in beta. I played in beta. People didn't expand until a few months after StarCraft 2 came out. Do you realize how common it was to do a 2-base, 2-gateway, 1 robo push? The standard gateway immortal timing. And did you know that everyone thought that it broke the game? Did you know that? It's still quite strong, even though it's bad. But now we know. Cool. Love what PPG Beebling is doing, delaying gas, building only 2 Zerglings because he's up against an early expander. Another way of saying this is that there is 0 chance of us really being under pressure until 8 minutes. 8 minutes. The 2 Zerglings used to scout everything around. Fantastic. Would like to see this built a little earlier, like by 5 minutes, but no big deal. We just got our 3rd queen a little bit too early. Often people will get this third queen up in order to spread creep. I still disagree with building a third queen before a hatch here. Only if we're really, really forced to build that queen do we want to do it. We have a supply block, and this is a really common thing to happen with Zerg, where we go, oh, it's supply blocked, I guess I'm going to hit the V button until I'm out of money and build 5,000 overlords, and then I'll be at 36 of 108, and then I'll start building drones. Just try to make sure you plan out your overlord timings a little bit. Oh, by the way, that's one of the big reasons why I say things like, I am not going to take my third queen before I've built that third hatch. I'm not going to do it. For one, I think it's better strategically, but for two, if I do that every single time, then it's a lot easier for me to remember my overlord timings. Okay, triple gas at 6 minutes. That's a little bit gas heavy. Generally, double gas at 6 minutes is quite good, or triple gas at 6:30 is quite good. Triple gas at 6 is a little bit gas heavy, and that's fine as long as we are sort of noting it. So we see a round of Zerglings spawn out close to 7 minutes. I like that. There are ways to cut around this corner to avoid this. But I, as a general rule, building some Zerglings as we're getting close to 7 makes sense. Why? A lot of those attacks come at 8. A lot of them come at 8. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some Zerglings out to kill off a nasty probe. We're going to be sending maybe 4 of these Zerglings here, maybe 1 over here, 1 up here. We'll send this Overlord here. We'll send some of these Zerglings over here, and make sure that we're safe to continue droning. Here's a really important timing that's a little bit more for Platinum, Diamond, Master, Grandmaster League. If you do see an attack coming, if you are suspicious of an attack, you must build your Roach Warren and Evo Chamber first. But if you are not suspicious of an attack, if it looks like he's not going to be attacking, you can go layer first. So the fact that Beebling did this, I think, it is going to incidentally wind up being okay in this game. But Beebling... Ooh, I'm going to rephrase that a little bit. This decision by PPG Beebling, if he had vision of his opponent, this would be the correct decision to do. He's not going to be under pressure. He can totally get away with it. But Beebling needs to see that. Beebling doesn't know that. This is why you'll generally see players like Liquid Ret Suicide and Overlord in at around 6, 7. Go ahead and spot these thingies. Just to know, can I get away with going nuts with this layer? And let's be honest, unless you're Liquid Ret, you probably way overbuilt Overlords because, whoopsie daisies, I got supply blocked. V. You totally have an Overlord to blow. Totally. So this is one of the biggest dangers in Zerg play. Or actually in StarCraft play in general. This, incidentally, is a correct move, but not universally. We have to check for it. If you want to be going for a fast layer and double Evo, you'll generally need a 4th gas geyser. And the reason I say you'll need that 4th gas geyser is because right now, at 7:38, you have to have a Roach Warren started by 7:30 or 8, always. You must. There are a number of pushes that pop out that you cannot deflect with only Zerglings. You must get that out. Zergling Infester is a possibility, but only if you're really aware how much you need spines. If you build the Roach Warren and get the speed upgrade for the Roaches, and then never use it, that's fine. That's fine. But this is one of these situations where there's some pushes that come at 8. Let's actually come back to this. There's some pushes that come at 8. Okay, we're beyond that. We still need the Roach Warren and the upgrade done so we can have all that stuff ready by 10. Because 10 minutes is where the rest of the big pushes come. So this makes me just a little bit like, God, right? We really need this 4th gas geyser. If we want to get Infestors, we'll need at least 5 gas geysers. So when I see something like this infestation pit going down, right now I'm like, well, you're only going to have like 3 infestors. Especially after you get the pathogen glands and the other needed upgrades. So again, I want you to note, what I just did is I solved a problem that Beebling could have, which are timing pushes at 10 minutes, by building a Roach Warren, getting the upgrade, and then maybe not building any roaches. But that's the way that you do Zerg. That's the way we roll.
I'm under attack.
I really think we might have a longer daily today. It might even make it 4 parts. Because why not? There's the Roach Warren going down finally. So we're noticing that our Zerg player is still building drones. Great, with one exception. Zerglings need to be here and here. Couple rounds of units, that's fine, but we're focusing largely on drones. Focusing largely on this. Now this would be a reasonable time to say something like, I really want to be going for a Hive. Am I worried about being attacked anytime? Do I have the money to go Hive? Well, if I go double upgrades, I might not have the money to go Hive right away. Do I have enough defenses here? Do I have all the special unit mixes that I want? Wow, he actually got 4 infestors out instead of 3. That's amazing to me. But of course you're noting that doesn't quite have the resources to do that. Remember when I said 5 geysers at least when you're getting the infestors out early? Yeah, this is the result. We can't do any of our other upgrade stuffs. Also, in general, unless you really get what you're doing, a 4th macro hatch before 10 minutes is important. You won't feel it. Often this happens where the macro's like, well, I have the money, why not just build it? But let's watch what's going to happen between now and 13 minutes. I'll actually just shoot over here to the corner and just note in the unit station, we're actually going to see this larva stay fairly low, and even without me needing to know what happens at this part in the game, it's really hard for Beebling to spend his money. It ends up climbing quite high. It incidentally gets, you know, zipped back down by building way more overlords than we need and these upgrades. But look, yet again, money's shooting up really high. Oh, gee, I guess I can get another hatchery. It plummeted back down, but it immediately spiked back up. And that's because this macro hatch was way, way late. Getting this started between 8 and 10 is I think, pretty essential. So, okay, cool. Yet again, we find ourselves in kind of this awkward spot as a Zerg player where, well, we really would love to be going Hive, but we're just now starting it. Good number to remember, 4 minutes. 4 minutes is the amount of time from when we start our Hive to when our Hive tech's done. By the way, thank you for all the hearts in chat. I really have been thoroughly enjoying those hearts. 4 minutes is the amount of time from when this layer starts to when your tech is done. So for the next 4 minutes, you need to figure out how to stay alive. We have money. Wall of spines here and spines here. Get them spines up. Hell, maybe even throw in an expand down there because F it, why not? We see a lot of units building. These Zerglings are good for attacking. They're not that great for defending. Wall of spines. Oh, so important. Oh, so important. Alright, we get the Corruptors coming up. Everything's looking good. We have a wall of spines happening, and see here, this is where learning can happen. This is why I liked this game quite a bit. This army comes up, and Beebling gets this feeling of, ah, shit, I really wish I'd built spines earlier. Great! Next time he plays, he has kind of a dumb, annoying situation, and he just goes, crap, my Broodlords aren't quite done yet, and he attacked. I guess next time I have to build more spine crawlers, and boom! He has just learned, and it's not just learning, he has a clear direction of where he wants to be learning. This attack, as a general control note, Infestors should be hit-and-run units. They shouldn't be 1A, swing up to the front, embarrassingly, like right now. Oh, we get him up. Pull back, pull back. Hit and run units. Always more important to keep units alive than it is to kill units off. So Beebling was in this army battle and did the absolutely correct thing, which was to flood with roaches in the midst of this total crisis. He flooded with roaches and then does the exact correct move. You flood roaches when you are really worried that you are going to die and you definitely need some emergency backup. This attack happened, but again, we don't have roach speed. That's one of the big reasons why we really want those roach upgrades. I think Beebling is doing excellently right now. This is excellent. Building spines, getting that hive tech up while we're doing this aggression. Attacking with the Broodlords, not so much. But then suddenly, again, these Zerglings just kind of come out of nowhere. We're not at our money 75 drones. If Beebling was going Corruptor drone right now, he would have been in fantastic shape. The decision to flood the roaches when in a tight spot is correct. The decision to follow up with the Broodlords and the Spines is correct. But the decision to follow up with the Zerglings and to dodge building drones is a little bit of an error. Because what happens? Beebling rebuilds this force, slowly is broke, tries to get more bases up, starts to feel really cramped in these situations. And the worst feeling to have as Zerg is the feeling of, oh my god, this is... if I lose this army, I die. We would love to be able to exchange some of these roaches for some infestors. We have the money to, but the fear as a Zerg player is, do we have the time to? Sure, we do this stuff. This is good. Killing off 3 units. And then our big push happens, and we're just tragically low on infestors. We've kind of had the time to do it, but not exactly had the time to do it. And one annoying Archon toilet later, and see you later, most of our army. And this game was actually ended up being quite close. In this circumstance, it can feel like, grr, the death ball was the reason I lost. This moment is actually the reason the loss happened. Well, actually, I guess there were 2. There was one right around now, when we started our hive, when this wall of spines should be going up. And the second one was at 20 minutes, where we're doing this attack, and we're starting to make not the right units. And if you're winning with hive tech, one of the big go-to things to do with hive tech is to get drones. Drones work very well with hive tech. It's very easy to say, I have all this money. Maybe I'll just make Zerglings, because what else am I going to do with the money, right? Build drones with the money, and get more money, and then build spines with that money. Spines and spores are actually some of the best things that Zergy has. God, this daily is going way, way longer than expected. That's okay. We're going to look at one ZVT game, and then one Zerg vs. Zerg game. And where is it on Daybreak? Excellent! So, what I'm actually going to try to do is do some of this game in part number 2, and then I'll finish it up in part number 3. God, I want that Korean barbecue. Oh, it's going to be so good. Oh, it is going to be so good. Oh. We have Liquid Plumber, who, believe it or not, is not a real member of Team Liquid. And then we have MN Giant Gnome. Oh, that's good. That is good. Excellent. So we're going to see another game. It's going to be Zerg vs. Terran. It's defined a little less by the timings that we saw with the ZVP matchup. 8 minutes, 10 minutes, and 16 minutes are the big ones in my eyes, where big, scary Protoss things will be occurring. And it's more about the general flexibility of our composition. Zerg vs. Terran is actually the matchup where Zergs will most often be tempted to build something other than a drone, which is one of our big mistakes that we don't want to do. Alright, Giant Gnome doing a hatch first, pool, gas. Not that strung out about the specifics of the ordering. But But then here's a moment that happens to every Zerg player known to man when suddenly an attack happens at the front of the base, and panic begins. Giant Gnome has actually had about almost 45 seconds to respond to this bunker that's going down. The first Overlord, in order to deflect these attacks best, should be about here. This is the best place to be because not only does it give us a vision of this area, where things are most likely to be, but also if we have an Overlord here, then we have the ability to run up to this high ground ledge if any Marines do show up. So, it's very easy to miss this bunker if he places it like here. So, Giant Gnome fortunately does spot it. Instantly send the drones, run around here to try to pick off as many Marines as possible. Kill off the SCV if you can, but make sure the drones end up on this side, on the back side. And if he runs the SCV really far away, turn around and target fire the bunker. Because what you don't want to do is run into this position, where you are, oh no, building anything but drones. Ah! This is another common mistake that happens with early aggression, is not having patience. This incidentally ends up winding out, where Giant Gnome is able to stay alive and win. But we ended up taking some absolutely massive damage. So I want to come back to right here, where this is building. Let's say for some reason we couldn't get our drones there. Our drones just didn't prevent it from happening. This hatch should rally to here. This hatch right here should rally back here. This hatch should rally to here. And you should just let him shoot at your hatchery. Just let him shoot till it's around 700. Hell, you can even wait till it's at 300. This spine you probably don't have to build, but if you do build it back here. And, like, not here, for God's sake. I hope it makes sense why this is bad, building it here is bad, and building it here is good. If you build it here, where can his Marines attack you from? They can hit you from this position or this position. Both of which are very easy to nab with Zerglings, if it's back here, touching the minerals. If you build it here, then your Zerglings have to run through a slit right here, which means it's easy for him to zone. I think one of the bigger mistakes people make is trying to build the spine crawler as close as possible. Just build it as far away as possible and let the hatch take a shit ton of damage. So with these Zerglings, it's so tempting to get to just shit your pants. Quite honestly, this, oh my god, oh, he's gonna kill me off, and you rally. Just wait patiently until you have so many units that you can just crush it. I think it's pretty amazing that Giant Gnome has been sort of had the wherewithal to continue to get upgrades, to have a reasonable money distribution. But Liquid Plumber is kind of tragically doing quite well in terms of his tech. If he was building SCVs the whole time, he would be crushing us. Alright, so the last thing that I want to note before we actually step onto a break and head into part number 3 is that Mnen Giant Gnome is doing a classic, difficult to notice blunder. Which is, right when we're done holding the attack, we go, yeah, time to go back into my normal build. And, well, actually, let me rephrase. What would be good is if your brain went, time to go back into the normal build. But instead, you know what the brain does? The brain goes, holy shit, we're way behind on our normal build. We better rush on into it. The most important thing always, ever, always is just to make sure you're building drones. So we get this Evo chamber. We get this flood of drones out. And we think things like, oh god, we got to get our layer up. Notice how, with this Evo chamber up, we don't actually have enough money to get all our drones up. We actually have a lot of idle larvae sitting around. I know we're doing some shenanigans up here, and we can get a little bit distracted by that, but, you know, getting +1, trying to make all these other upgrades and stuff, just focus on the drones. You'll notice that even right now, as Giant Gnome is stepping in, he still has idle larvae. And Liquid Ret actually says the #1 rule that I always have when I'm playing is just to make sure that there's no idle larvae, ever. It's very, very... It's actually easiest of all with Zerg to fall into this trap of going, oh, look at this, I have a lot of money. If I have money, I should spend my money. And I should make sure that I'm expanding and doing all this sort of stuff. I will just state as an important lesson, train yourself to first build all your larvae out and then make a decision if you have money left over. Cool. Going to a break. Be back in 2.